Hello, I'm Jason Stevenson. Welcome to your Tiny Daily Kick. There's a moment in most of our lives where we stop believing we are creative. We don't even notice when it happens. It's not like some morning we wake up and say, oh, I'm no longer creative. I don't use my imagination. No, it's much more subtle than that. It slips in unnoticed when we learn as adults to be sensible, responsible, strategic, efficient. But there was a time for every single one of us where creativity was not a skill. It was simply the way we existed. Oh boy, I can remember those days so vividly. I used to love going in my bedroom. My bedroom was this sanctuary of creativity. My walls were covered in movie paintings because my dad used to paint for the cinemas, and I was into horror movies and how they would use makeup and special effects, and I was just surrounded by it. My dad was a signwriter, artist, musician. My mum was a musician. I lived surrounded by creativity like it was in the air. And my playground was my Super 8 camera. And I'd make these little plastilene figurines and move them 1 second at a time. I'd tap the camera once and then move them again for 1 second, tap it again. I loved to make these animation movies, and I made some short Super 8 movies around my hometown of Windang, these 3-minute clips. I really enjoyed it. I got my family and friends involved. They enjoyed it. They become movie stars. It was fantastic. That 5-year-old me, he didn't know about right and wrong. He didn't know about views or analytics. He just followed the feeling, creativity. Feel like this explosion of color every day of my life where my mind could just be open and go wild. Possibility everywhere, playfulness everywhere. I could stand in front of endless imaginary bridges and choose whatever one lit me up. There was no set pathway. It was just wherever I wanted to go. No justification, no permission, just magic. And I'm telling you that because I need you to remember your moment like that. Because at some point, most of us have lost it. And here's where this gets really interesting. There was a study by George Land, and you can look this up. He does a great TED Talk, by the way, on YouTube. And this was originally designed for NASA, and they tested the creative genius level of 5-year-old children. This percentage is staggering. 98% of children tested were creative geniuses. 98%. Let that sink in. They then retested the same kids at age 10. Would you believe 30% were creative geniuses? And then it goes on. They tested it again at age 15. Only 12% were creative geniuses. By adulthood, only 2% of people registered as creative geniuses. From 98% to 2%. And that's not because we lost creativity, it's because we unlearned it. We replaced imagination with fear of being wrong. We replaced color with algorithms. We replaced bridges of possibility with metrics, outcomes, perfectionism. And look, this is important to say. There have been times in my own career where creativity had to meet structure. It just does, especially in business, especially in online business. Because let's be honest, there is a demand from search engines, from platforms, Google, YouTube, Facebook, even podcasts, from the systems that drive discoverability. And that's why I have a team working for me in YouTube. That's why I have experts analyzing data, because to grow, you need that. Analytics are not the enemy. They're vital. They help us to share our work with people who need it most. But if we're not careful, the numbers can quietly begin to lead instead of support. And that's where we risk losing the magic. Even Einstein quietly warned what a trap that is. He once said imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is what already exists. Imagination is what could exist. if we relearn it. So here's what I'm practicing now. Right now, while creating these tiny daily kicks, I'm choosing to let this 5-year-old boy lead again. I'm choosing to create because it feels alive, not so much because it performs well. Of course, I'd like that to happen, but that's just not what this platform is all about. Creativity doesn't need permission. It just needs space, and we can reclaim that space starting tomorrow. Here's your tiny daily kick. Tomorrow, ask yourself one question. What would 5-year-old me choose today? What would 5-year-old me choose today? Don't ask what's right. Don't ask what's strategic. Don't ask what helps you win. Just ask what feels like this explosion of color and follow it, even just for 5 minutes. Draw something like a child. Sing something off key, like you don't care. Write a paragraph the way your imagination wants to speak it. Make something weird or strange or delightfully just imperfect, because the genius is not gone. It's waiting in all of us. That 5-year-old is still here. It's still inside and still pointing at the bridge that lights you up. And all we have to do is choose it, because it's time to stop living in black and white. It's time to move to that explosion of color. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you and to thank all my active followers for your support. Please, if you've enjoyed this, follow and share it around with a friend or two. Until next time, I'm Jason Stevenson. Imagine boldly, then go out and live it.